Good morning everyone. Today what we are going to see is how to create and edit our grid system. So this is the very basic element of a Stat Pro. Here I am going to teach you how to create different types of grids and how we are going to edit those kind of grids and what is the meaning of different systems. Okay, here I am going to teach you creating a linear grid system. By default you have a grid system that is a linear, so I am going to activate the front view. Then we are going to create new grid systems. So first of all, this is called as snap node or beam or grid window, we used to call this. So here you find a button named create, so I am going to click that button for creating new grids. Here there are three different types of grid systems. I already told you there's a different types of grid system in Stat Pro. First one is linear grid system, the second one is radial grid system, and the third one is irregular grid system. So first of all we are going to know and we are going to learn about the linear grid system. So I am going to create a new linear grid system. So click on the linear one, and here we have to give a name. So I am going to provide a name linear. Okay, then there's a different planes, so I will explain it I will explain it later. So here we are going to create a new grid system. Okay, the new grid system is created, but we are right now what we are seeing is the default grid system. So I am going to switch to the newly created mind grid system, linear grid system. So click on this box, so you are switching into the new grid system. So here I am going to teach you what are the different options that is available in that page. So here go to edit panel, you have the same page that we already see while we are creating a grid system. Okay, here you may see planes, so I can explain it in a 3D view. So this is XY plane. You might find axis that has been mentioned in your lower left corner, X, Y and Z. So that axis says this plane is a XY plane, so that's what this plane is all about. So here I am going to switch it into XZ plane. Then what is going to happen is the grid system will be shifting into XZ plane. So let me click on the XZ plane. So you may see the variations and you may see what just happened. So next I am going to teach you what will next we are going to know what is going to happen when I click on the YZ plane. So it's obvious it is going to take the plane that is YZ. Okay, it has been mentioned in our global coordinate system. So I am going to click on the YZ plane. See, this is what the plane is all about. Next what we are going to see is plane angle. So I can't able to explain it in this 3D view, but let me switch into the front view. Okay, here you might have a clear cut squares everywhere. Okay, all these things are clear squares with the unit of 1. Okay, let me teach you what is the meaning of this angle of plane. Okay, here we are going to take an angle from YY plane, which is this one. So I am going to put an angle of 30 degree. Then I am going to click on OK. So you found some of the at last we saw that all the boxes are in a square shape. Here you might find some differences, that is everything is turned into a rectangle. So actually what happened, we are going to know about it when from our top view. Okay, this is what happened. The whole grid system is turned to 30 degree from YY plane. Okay, so I am going to turn it back into the original position. So I am going to put and 0 in this particular box, and I am going to click OK. So here this is what happened when we are using the angle of plane. Okay, then I am going to teach you in these two different axes too. Okay, XX, let's switch into a XX plane. Then we are going to give an angle of 30 degree, the similar one. Then click on OK. Here you find something, but it is in, you can't able to see a grid in a top view. That something happened. So I am going to show it in a side view. So this is what happened when you change the angle of a plane. Okay, and put a 0. Then I am going to show you what will happen when it is in ZZ. Okay, so I am going to put 30 in ZZ, then okay. So you may find it a bit difficult, so let me show you in a front view. This is what happened when you change the plane of a ZZ axis. So what's the use of this thing? You may ask, what is the use of this thing? So the main use is you can create a different grid systems, so you may lead it into a different column and grid system. So sometimes we can't able to have a we can't able to design a structure in a only rectangular shape. Sometimes we have to go for an irregular shape, sometimes we have to go for a diamond shape. So when we are turning our grid to a particular angle, it will be very much helpful for us to create a beams, columns in that particular as per the particular recommendation. Okay, so next thing what I am going to teach you is the next grid system. So I am going to click on the create button again. So then I am going to set the default grid system type as radial. So I am going to name it as a radial. So in this system what we are going to learn is what is this system. First we are going to learn what is actually this system, then we are going to learn all these tools. Okay, then I am going to click on OK. So here I created a new grid system which is the type of radial, named as radial. So I am going to switch into that grid system. So you find something different. What happened, buddy? Actually we have a rectangular grid system. Right now we turn into some sort of circular or some sort of a polygon. What is actually happening? So that's what I am going to explain you. So I am going to edit the grid system. Okay, this is what you get when you are creating a grid system. Okay, the plane does the same actually displayed in a linear plane, a linear system, and the plane angle also going to do the same action that is happened in a linear plane system. So what I am going to teach you is the grid origin. Actually I hope I didn't teach you all these particulars in the linear grid system, so don't worry, we are going to come across that session later. So I am going to teach you the grid origin. Okay, so let me teach. So if I can't able to teach you just like putting a number, so I am going to put a reference first. So that is 0, 0. So I am going to click a node in that particular point. So I will teach you how to create a node in a later session. So that node is being created in 0, 0. Okay, right now I am going to edit the grid origin. I am going to put 1, 0, 0. Okay. Okay. Here guys, you can't able to see the difference. So I am going to put a 10 in a x-axis. So actually what I am going to do is I am going to specify the origin of my grid as 10, 0, 0. Okay, let me click OK. So you found my grid's origin is changed into 10, 0, 0. This is what happened when you change the grid origin. So what is the use of this thing? So it would be useful for you to create a composite structures, like a tall structure, then a small structure, then a tall structure. So you can change the grid system from, you can't able to calculate with 110, 120. So the calculation maybe get a little bit tricky, little bit confusing. So you can change your grid origin to that particular point, so you can do the same thing. So that would be very useful. So next thing what I am going to teach you is, so let me save the project. Okay, the next thing what I am going to teach you is I am going to teach you all these things. Okay, all these things. Okay, what is the meaning of this construction lines? All the lines that you see in this grid is called as construction lines. These inclined lines, these horizontal lines, these radial lines, these base, all these things are called as construction lines. Okay, so here the angle of the radial grid system is starting at 0 degree and ending at 360 degree. So what these two options is going to do is I can change the starting of the grid system by using these two options. So here you find this is a 0 degree, and then it runs throughout the circle and coming back to the 360 degree. So I want it to be in this vertical position, so I am going to change it into 90 degree. Then I am going to hit OK. So you find the origin of the grid system, or a starting point of a grid system, is turning into 90 degree. Okay, this is what happens. So let me go and explain the sweep. That means the end angle. So I am going to teach you the end angle will be 180 degree, and I am going to hit OK. What just happened? It starts in 90 degree and ends in 180 degree. It doesn't ends in 180 degree, it starts and sweep through 180 degree. That's what happened. Okay, this is the use of this start angle and sweep angle. Then you might find radius 1 and radius 2. So we used it in a hollow circle. So what is the use of this, buddy? Yeah, it is going to create a hollow grid system. So here I am going to teach you the second radius is 120, so I am going to put a 50 meter of first radius. So I am going to hit an OK. You found a semi hollow circle. So I am going to edit, and I am going to change the 180 degree into 360 degree sweep. You found a hollow grid system. Okay, this is what happens when you change the radius 1 and radius 2, and it is also helpful for creating water tank projects and stadium projects. So you have to create a series of frames just following the circle, or you are going to create a circular truss, circular roof. It would be very much helpful for you to create those things. The next thing what we are going to learn in this particular grid system is the base and these base. So what are these base? So one of the base will increase the radial lines, and another one base increase the circumferential lines. Okay, so let me click on this bay, and I am going to increase one bay. Here you guys find a radial line is being added into the radial circle system, radial grid system. So you found the polygonal circle turns into a circular grid system. Yeah, that's good. So this is what will happen when you increase the base. So you can't able to create that. The only least number of creating base is 3. Okay, so highest number you can do 100, then you can do 100 over here too. Okay. So actually we can create 99 base. So I'm going to OK. What do you guys see? Oh, my system isn't having that much capacity to run this heavy grid system. So I'm going to turn it into 15 and 15. That is what I needed. Okay, this is what are the different editing options available in a radial grid system. The next thing what we are going to learn is linear grid system. Okay, so I left some of the topics in a linear grid system, so we are going to see all those things. So switch on to the linear grid system, click on the edit button. So here you find all these things. Okay, so I already taught you what's the grid origin, so there's no need for explaining it again. So I am going to teach you the construction lines and spacing and skew in this linear grid system. Okay, so the construction lines, where does the construction line has to start, is going to be explained in the left. Otherwise you can say you can add an extra construction line in right or left side. Like while you're clicking on this button, you are creating another one construction line in this particular type. You may see you are creating another one construction line on the left of the origin. By clicking it again, you can create one more. By clicking it again, you can another one line system. Okay, next, what is this right thing means? It is obviously going to the same. By clicking on this or entering a number, you can add a construction line again to the right of the object. Okay, so what just happened, I just used the X system, so it creates a construction line on the right and on the left of a origin. So what I am going to do next is I am going to use the Y. Okay, here what will happen when you click on the left, a new construction will be created on the left side of the y-axis. That means on the under the origin. Okay, by clicking on the system you can create a new construction line on the top of the origin. Okay, then what is the spacing means? The spacing is actually the horizontal and vertical distance between the adjacent construction lines. That is what this spacing. So I am going to change the spacing of x-axis into 2. You will see the difference. Okay, what happened? The distance between the two y construction lines is changed into 2. Okay, so by changing the x-axis distance you can change the distances of the construction lines which is parallel to y-axis. So by changing the spacing of the y-axis you can change the spacing between the construction lines which is parallel to the y-axis. Okay, so next what we are going to learn is, what we are going to know is, what is this Q angle? Okay. What is this Q angle? This Q angle is that inclination angle or angle of inclination of an axis. So let me put a 30° in x-axis and hit OK. You found all the x-axis, all the axis parallel to the x are turned into 30 degrees. Okay, so I am going to edit it again, put on 0. Okay, I'm going to change the y-axis to line into 30°. So you find all the y-axis are inclined into 30°. Okay, this is the use of a skew angle. By using skew angle you can incline the grid system. Okay, the third grid system what we are going to see is irregular grid system.